We're joined here with a gentleman from Oxefit today, and Chris is here. Chris, tell us a little bit about what you do with nuHx.
So I'm the health coach here at nuHx, pretty much in charge with taking our patients and our clients through all the assessments, giving them the background of what to expect, and really like what we're doing with body composition, metabolic breath analysis, and then more importantly like strength and stability, which is where Oxefit came in for us, which I've been enjoyed learning more about, tinkering with, and really just fine tuning it, seeing what how it fits in with us.
So, gentlemen, you introduce yourselves and tell us some more about Oxefit.
My name is Nieto. I am the commercial sales director for the West Coast.
And Jeff Blake, I'm a member of the executive team. Wear kind of multiple hats for the company.
So with Oxefit, our model at nuHx, we're going to be using to really help clients with strength, power, mobility. Those are, it seems like the three core metrics that Oxefit can deliver. Can you speak a little bit more about that and why strength is so important for longevity?
First of all, we're very grateful to participate in the event. It's been crazy for us, and really excited about working with nuHx and New BioAge. And as you look at resistance training, it's more about not getting big muscles, right? It's foundational for longevity. So it used to be more about vanity and I want to do more reps and more miles, right? But it's really more now about vitality. I want to get stronger and I want to maximize my VO2 max, right? So if you look at any longevity prominent figure in the industry, resistance training is always a foundational element. So it has a very broad impact on overall wellness. So whether you want to regulate your hormones or insulin glucose regulation, you release more neuro growth factors, more functional health, more mobility, more heart health, reduced immunosenescence, right? So it actually touches so many functional areas. I loved when the kickoff presentation earlier in the week when he said, hey, if I could give you a magic pill that can do these 30 things, would you take it? A bunch of hands raised. He said, it's called resistance training. We have a partner called Oxefit. And so for me, like joining the company, that's what I was excited about is I've lifted weights, I've been in sports, but to up my game in longevity and my personal fitness and more importantly, my health span, because it's about how do I live a longer quality life. So that's what I'm really excited about. I see some big shifts in the industry. Okay, we've been doing this for quite a while. I see healthcare organizations, PT, traditional about recovery and wellness. They're trying to get more towards performance. I see the performance boutique clinics trying to get more around recovery. There's this new thing that popped up, biohack, right, where it's kind of the innovators in this space. It's in that sweet spot that they want to do a little bit of both proactively. What I'm excited about with here and with New BioAge and nuHx is a lot of the biohackers didn't have a medical license, right? This is about the medical community, and it's going to be accelerating proactive medicine into the mainstream. And I think that just certainly affects our success as a company, but really humanity, right? How can we have much better health span, much longer lifespan, much better quality of life? So to me, that's just super exciting. It's my favorite vertical of all.
From a clinical standpoint, you look at it as clinicians and as they kind of scale up their business, also looking at cash-based revenue and that concierge medicine aspect. So this brings that whole level for the clinic itself to not only provide better patient care, but provide better for their bottom line as well too, so they can provide that better care for people that want to get to that next level of optimal health.
Most of the clinics have a membership model. The only way to reinforce that is you need to assess and baseline, use analytics. I'm going to track your historical progress. So that's going to show the value of medicine. I'm going to get on and off the machine in 10 minutes. So how do I use advanced training to accelerate that growth? How do we use AI to personalize that overall experience? So these are the things that we love partnering with organizations like yourself.
Yeah, and the AI component is amazing. It's really blown us away. I mean, I knew when we first saw the product that it would be a great fit for our event and our network of providers because we have all these baseline segments, body composition within body. We do the Pranoi breath analysis, but now we can actually measure and quantify strength, making sure patients are tracking correctly towards their strength goals, mobility, power, balance, all these things. And the way that Oxefit does it is so unique and it just blew me away. Like I've been lifting weights for almost 20 years, and I'm an old school lifter. Been in the gym. When I saw it, I'm like, I'm a little skeptical, but using it for over the last month, and now I feel like I can't go to a gym. Like I'm only going to be on the Oxefit. So,
Well, and what's really interesting and what we've been talking to a lot of clinicians here about is, it's just a complaint that and what they're doing and all the modalities that they have in these clinics are great. They're getting great measurements, but the problem is that a lot of patients walk out going, I don't really feel any different. I got a lot of good measurements, but unfortunately, they're human beings. I want to take away something. Well,
Right.
you guys experienced it when you did the OxAI assessment.
Oh, yeah.
How did you feel afterwards, right?
It wore me out.
Yeah, it's nice to come away with that feeling,
Right.
and when you did the full assessment.
I think a lot of our customers are frustrated because they're not getting results. They do lift a lot of weights, they do a lot of reps, they do a lot of miles, but they're not getting the results that they want, and they really don't know how to sort of get there. And I think AI fills that gap, right? So. We've been collecting data for 5 years. I've got over 130 million data points on human movement, right? So and it's just going to continue to learn and get smarter. But when you get on the machine, it's going to ask you some questions about what your personal goals are, what your experience is, how often can you work out, are there any injuries to avoid, and you'll have an assessment for about 30 minutes, and it's going to come back with reading your strength, your balance, your mobility, and it's going to provide a score for you. Now that scoring and that assessment, we can build a personalized protocol that's curated to your wellness goals, right? Where do I want to go? And every time you get on the machine and you work out, it's going to continue to update your goals, learn more about you, evolve your program. When you're on the machine, AI will figure out, hey, how is this person strong? Are they getting stronger? Do I add more adaptive weight? How do I shift things around to keep things fresh and to accelerate their goals? So it's an exciting area for us, and it's just going to continue to expand. Stay tuned for about another month or so. We'll probably be coming out with a new product that even goes broader in the whole wellness community.
that's what I love too. You continue to innovate. So, and also another great thing is that you can actually put in if somebody has an injury or immobility, which is huge. If they have an immobility, it's often a big barrier to achieving their goal. So, now with Oxefit, with the AI adjustments, you can work around those immobilities and injuries and improve versus just staying stagnant.
Yeah, I love that the most about it. I mean, looking, from a coaching perspective, it's like you want to have your client be able to work out, get stronger, but they may have an injury, but you want them to be safe while doing it, obviously. I mean, the last thing you want is just someone to do like a heavy squat in the gym and their back goes out. At least with this, the AI adaptive, it can react to your power output, start to either decrease the weight, or even with like the virtual spotters, a really good one that I like. You start to struggle, it senses it and just immediately takes the weight off, and you're safe. That's a big thing, especially for older people as they age. They can't maybe lift as heavy. They don't want to move all those weights around in the gym. They have it all right there. It's wonderful.
What's really interesting, I'm kind of the poster child for recovery, because even before I joined Oxfit, I've broken and torn about everything in my body. The rotator cuff, bicep reattach, broken osteohead, ACL, broken my left arm in half, had some cartilage repairs. So honestly, before I joined Oxfit, I did an assessment. So I looked at my range of motion. I know I'm 15% deficient on my right side now, right? So I've been able to train and work through those asymmetries so I can still continue to play volleyball at a high level. I know I'm about 25% deficient on my right side because most of my lower extremity injuries have been over here, right? I've got a full gym in my basement. It used to take me 45 minutes to do a workout, but now I can use advanced training. It's about 9.5 minutes time under tension. I've never felt better. So, I'm accelerating my results. So it just, I'm learning from smart people like yourself. I'm more of a data guy. I'm more of a tech guy by background. It's my fourth company with the CEO, but I feel like I'm becoming a rapid fitness expert just because of work with you folks and understanding what the machine can provide with my own personal wellness. So.
From that perspective to other perspectives of people just transitioning, my whole life power lifter, and I'm 40 now, so I've got to figure out ways not to do that to my body anymore. And this has that capability of providing all of that great tensile strength and recruitment of muscle fibers to keep the bulk on without having to sacrifice my joints and obviously my whole body.
Yeah, it's awesome. I love my favorite one's I think it's the overload, where you can go between the concentric and the eccentric, kind of figure out exactly, you can push up with a lighter weight, come down with a heavier weight, really get that eccentric stretch going and control it. That's my favorite part. I love doing that.
Yeah. And those are things like, an advanced weightlifter would know, but somebody who's just getting into strength training would never know how to train that way. So with the Oxefit, it does it for you, which is so powerful.
We have, purpose-built programs serving multiple verticals. Yes, we can do recovery, ACL recovery, we can do work hardening, we can do sport-specific, a pickleball, a golf, rotational program. For longevity, we can get on and off the machine in a few minutes. We've got women's wellness, we've got the active aging male, things like that. Some of the advanced training stuff you were talking about, I mean, when I work out at home myself, I actually stack them, right? So single movement of curl, start with 25 pounds when I'm mechanically disadvantaged. By the time I get to the top, it's 40, right? I want to make better use of that top end of my range of motion. Right. Now I can overload the resistance phase for 40, but I can add 1 pound at a time, so you're progressively getting harder. I can even add some instability to it to increase your antagonistic muscle activation. Mm-hmm. And so that's where my 45 minutes is now, 9.5 minutes time under tension. And I feel like I get a much better fatigue, and I do so in a much safer manner. If you tilt the bar too much, twist the bar too much, if you drop it, if you stall, the machine's actually going to either unload the weight or kick in and give you kind of that virtual spot to finish for you. So.
Which is what you were talking about earlier, kind of that virtual spot, right? Minimizing that liability both at home as well as in the clinic.
Yeah, because it's like, you want to be able to, like I said, get stronger and all that, but it's like we also want to challenge our body, and we want to do it in a safe way. So, and I feel like the Oxefit does a really good job of doing that. So that's what I love about it.
Active aging, it's different than when we were younger, when we were training. I've got stenosis in my neck. I don't want to put a barbell on my back anymore. I can. I just choose not to. So we've got a great waist harness we can use. I have handles. Just getting an individual moving and more mobility is super important. We can have a little fun on the machine. We can do a little kayaking or a little skiing, things like that. So it's just really kind of pulling an individual in, getting a little more engaged, learning about movement. And there's definitely a progression there where you can turn on more and more features and live a better life. So.
I think another thing we've been listening to out here this conference, and it's just verification of we're in the right space, this is the vein where we belong, is they all talk about this singular motivation of what they're trying to do. They're just trying to change the perspective of how the patient sees their world and be able to make that more optimal. And that's just honestly changing how they're motivated to do things. And so with this, you can do it in different ways. I mean, give it by giving them numbers, giving them goals to reach, and getting objective data in real time, as well as on a weekly or monthly or yearly basis. And that's a whole other motivation. And then there's another one for those that just want the gamification of exercise. Yeah. So they just want to be motivated. And you can do that on the systems, like you said earlier, kayaking on a river, avoiding alligators and stuff like that on cardio. But adding all of these together gives options for every type of patient, for every type of individual, from the pro athlete to those with progressive neurological disorders, to find their optimal.
Yeah. And the data is so amazing and so in depth. Like you talked about, you're a data guy. I think there's a lot of people that are like that. They need to see on paper the improvements in the actual data, and that's going to be such a powerful tool for the providers as well. Not only to show their patients, but for themselves, so see where they can make adjustments.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, my CEO is a data guy by background as well, and just an interesting story. He was going through some surgeries and had some recovery, and was working with a PT who was maybe a little bit younger, and could never tell him the how or the why behind it, and move a little here, move a little there, but he's very objective, data-driven, so, he wanted to have a way that, hey, I can recover, I can visualize my progress. And so he partnered with a guy by the name of Peter Newhouse, who's our CTO and co-founder. Used to build exoskeletons for astronauts to maintain muscle density in space. And, so you combine, all the intelligence on the data and the cloud and AI with all the mechanical kind of mastery, and you kind of come at this space a little bit differently with data, right? So. And AI is the way that kind of incorporates all that data in an intelligent way that you can get those results. But if you're a strength coach or therapist or clinician, I can look at, hey, what's my weight distribution over time? What's my power generation? What's my velocity? What's, my force on the force plate? What's my joint angles, right? And so, again, I know my deficiencies, and that will allow me to become more symmetrical and move over time. And when you're on the machine, you get a lot of biofeedback. I can see my force plate changing colors, I can see my balance, I can see any asymmetries in my force, in my power, in my velocity. So it's not only more engaging, but it actually gives you more informational data. So like my CEO now knows when I recover on the machine, this is how exactly I am progressing. So, and it gives tools to clinicians like yourselves that you can communicate better and be a better service provider to your demographics. So.
Absolutely, yeah. I love that real-time feedback. It's a great feature. Right in front of you can't miss it.
Can't argue with it.
Can't argue with it. Yeah, exactly.
You know, and I mean, listen, I know you guys deal with a broad demographic with recovery, with active aging, and I mean, Chris is a phenomenal golfer, right? So even like in the golf community, we have golf-specific programs, and we can isolate upper versus lower body. Weight distribution in golf is really important.
Yeah,
you want to hit a ball drive longer. Eccentric overload, so you get more power through your rotational planes. So there's just a lot of ways you can serve your community just with the different tools that we have, and that's what's exciting about our partnership. So
Absolutely.
And that tailoring is a big part of it. Getting your expertise on those rotational movements.
Right.
You already started to build your own protocols, right?
Yeah.
I mean, day one, it was awesome.
Oh, yeah.
And you're building those out specifically for nuHx, and that can be applied to obviously any other clinics and the special ways that they're doing. So you guys get to add your own flavor to it, an amazing assessment and treatment tool all in one.
Right. Yeah, absolutely.
I think maybe there's one last thing I'd like to do, and you need to have a business out of this, right? We need to be able to monetize this, so data is a key to do that. So I can come in, I don't need to be a gym in the clinic anymore. I can have a small platform, do a number of assessments. I'm going to baseline my patient where there's a starting point, right? You can send a machine home with them, and you can extend the reach of your business, your clinic, have your brand, have your logo on the home machine, and you can track all of their data, give their progress reports, accelerate the results, have AI to personalize, have them come back once a quarter to reassess. And so there's a way to participate in that hardware revenue and that ongoing membership to drive sort of a managed longevity service. So the ability of connected fitness to extend the reach for snowbirds maybe, for instance, is just a great way to grow your revenue streams. So.
Absolutely.
Well, I really appreciate you guys being here. Super excited to keep working with you guys in the future, and I'm really glad we made this happen.
A ton of gratitude. We really appreciate the opportunity to participate and partner with you. So.
So honored. Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.